All right, class. So we've been talking about force and motion and the six simple machines. And can you name the six simple machines with me? Well, that's right. Let's see. Lever. We've got the pulley. We have the inclined plane, the wedge, the screw, and the wheel and axle. Today we're going to read about a guy who, way back before they actually had machines, Archimedes. Yeah, all right. And he was from Greece, and he was pretty smart. Came up with a lot of great inventions and ideas. So let's read about him, and then you guys will answer questions about him, okay? So let's talk about biography. Biography obviously means it's about him, his life. Archimedes is one of the more interesting characters in the history of ancient Greece. He lived in the city of Syracuse, where he solved problems and created inventions for the king. He was one of the great mathematicians in world history and made many early discoveries. His early life. Archimedes was born on the island of Sicily in Italy, in the city of Syracuse around 287 BC. So he was born in the city of Syracuse on the island of Sicily. That's going to be a question you need to answer. In the year 287 BC, that was when he was born. His father was the astronomer named Phidias. Archimedes may also have been related to King Hero II of Syracuse. Although little is known about his early life, at some point he traveled to Alexandria, Egypt to study mathematics and then returned to Syracuse, working for the king. There are many stories about how and why Archimedes came up with his many inventions. So, several of them tell how King Hero II would request Archimedes to solve different problems. Archimedes would then go off and come up with some ingenious way to help out the king. Question of silver or gold. One day, the king received a new crown made from pure gold. However, he suspected that the goldsmith, the guy who made it, may have used some silver in the crown to save some money. Kind of slipped the silver in, took some of the gold out. He asked Archimedes to figure out if it was pure gold. Archimedes wasn't sure what to do. He knew the density of gold and the density of silver. But how could he determine the volume of the crown? He figured it out while he was taking a bath. He could measure the amount of water the crown displaced, and then he could compare that to the weight of the object. Once he had this information, he could determine if the density of the crown matched with pure gold. Supposedly, he was so excited that he leaped up and ran naked through the streets of Syracuse shouting, "Eureka!" meaning, I found it. So what did his phrase that he is known for? Eureka. Okay. It seems that even thousands of years ago, scientists had a reputation for being a little crazy. Can you imagine seeing some scientist run down the street yelling Eureka naked? He'd get arrested. Nobody would believe him. Anyway, Archimedes' screw. So Archimedes used his mathematical skills and genius to create useful inventions. One of his most famous inventions is called the Archimedes screw. It's obviously named after him. It was a device that could lift water to higher levels. One of its first uses was to pump water out of from leaking ships. It is still used today in some places to move water from lower bodies of water to irrigation ditches. And it's really kind of cool. I think I put a video of it in the lesson that we did on screws. Archimedes screws, a video of one of those is how it works. Basically sucks up the water up the sides of the screw and takes it up higher when you turn the crank. It's kind of cool. Anyway, backside. Defending Syracuse. So, one of the major events in Archimedes' lifetime was the attack of Rome on Syracuse. Archimedes devoted his talents to defending his city from the Romans and came up with some fascinating inventions. Two of his most famous were the claw of Archimedes and the heat ray. Sounds like an Avengers thing, right? Anyway, the claw of Archimedes was a large crane with a grappling hook on the end of it. When an enemy ship came close to the crane, it would hook the ship's prow, the front of the ship or the side of the ship, and then tip the ship over. So you'd have, let's say these are two ships, right? You'd have a crane on this one ship with a claw, and they'd fling the claw over to this ship and then tip it over and make it sink. It was kind of cool. The next was the heat ray. Legend has it that Archimedes used mirrors to concentrate rays from the sun and set enemy ships on fire. This likely would not have worked, but perhaps it was used to distract or blind enemy ships. Okay, mathematics. I know we're doing science, not math, but they kind of go together. Archimedes' true passion was mathematics. He made many discoveries, and today he is considered one of the greatest mathematicians in history. Some of his discoveries were in the field of geometry, where he worked with spheres, cylinders, circles, and parables. He also calculated the value of pi, 3.14, blah, 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 very accurately using a process called the method of exhaustion. Sounds exhausting. He even used something called infinitesimals to perform math similar to modern-day calculus. His death. After 2 years of holding off the Romans, the city of Syracuse was finally taken in 212 BC. Archimedes was working on a math problem when a Roman soldier approached him and ordered him to come meet with the Roman general. When Archimedes refused, the Roman soldier grew angry and killed him. Can you imagine? He's so intense on his math problem that he's working on that he refuses to go with the soldier, and the soldier just kills him over a math. Like, really? Come on. Okay. Anyway, interesting facts about Archimedes. He is sometimes credited with inventing the odometer. An odometer is in your car. It counts the miles as you drive, right? Okay. He designed a pulley system that helps sailors lift heavy objects to different areas on their ships. Pulleys, one of the simple machines. He developed the first idea for a planetarium. A planetarium is where you can go and they actually project stars that we see outside. They project them onto the ceiling so you can see them. So he's the first one to develop that idea. And the Fields Medal is given to the top mathematician each year, and it has a picture of Archimedes on it. So even every year, the top mathematician in the world gets this thing called a Fields Medal, and it's got Archimedes' picture on it. He discovered the Archimedes principle in physics, which says that the upward buoyant force on a body immersed in a fluid is equal to the weight of the fluid the body displaces. That's, yeah. Anyway, buoyancy, Archimedes principle in physics. Okay, that's the article. Now go answer the questions that I asked you to answer on the worksheet.